Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Nabila Qabbani. Welcome to my channel Fingerprint in IT. Today our topic is about automation through API, which is one of the most powerful and efficient techniques for automating tasks on the products supporting it. Most of the people who rely on API for the automation are basically following what the vendor documentations provide. However, some people doesn't know that the web-based applications can also provide extended capabilities which can be utilized for the API automation, which sometimes is not mentioned in the vendor documentations. So today I will be showing one example of this thing, how it can be done. And similarly, you can look into your products basically, or the application you are working on, if this can help you, for example, in automating the tasks you are doing. In this example, I will be using an application called PRTG and the Microsoft Edge browser. Definitely this technique works on other browsers as well, because most of the browsers support the same tool, which is called Developer Tools. This widget, actually, you can open it by just clicking an F12 on your PC, and it will pop up for this one. Whenever you open it, it will take you to this page. Basically, the most important thing in this widget is the network tab. Network tab basically will show you the calls happening whenever you are doing something on the browser. So for example, if I will be searching for Google and click enter, you can see how the page is loading all the things which are coming up out of this. So going back to our example, let's say I have this page which I want to automate selecting either one of these two options across multiple other objects. Like for example, I'm doing this now on a ping action. So I want to do the same for many other things, but I don't want to do it manually. So what I can do is basically I can open the developer tools, and I can see here the actions happening on the network tab. Now, before going to the network tab, I want to show you one thing which might be sometimes useful if you are looking into more complex examples, or an action that can require multiple steps on the same page. So this actually element can help you finding out the exact things you are clicking on inside the page. So if you see here, I can drill down to the exact object types. And whenever I am highlighting something, it will show it here, so I can know which one exactly is located where. So for example, for this one, I'm reaching to the same place. I can see that this is having some name of something called inherited triggers underscore. And there is something inherited triggers 1 and something inherited triggers 0. Going back to the network tab, we will be seeing something similar. So first of all, I will clear all the requests, and I will try selecting one of the two options. Let's say I'm selecting this one. I can see an edit setting showed up. Here I can see that it's calling the URL, the same IP I'm having here, the local host, along with edit settings, and it's a post command. Going to the payload, I can see what is inside this post command. So I can see the same value we have got from the elements tab, which was inherited triggers. Along with it, I have something called ID. Like for this application, the PRTG application, it relies on the ID for identifying the objects. Like if I have this ping object, I have for it a specific ID showing up, which is using it to identify where to update the information. So these two things are enough for having the post command. So if I take this one and I paste it here, so I have this information. I have inherit triggers equal 1 and the ID value. So let's say I want to see what is the value happening when I choose the second option. So I will clear everything, I will select the other value and see. So the value here is 0, so that's the difference. The first option will be as 1 and the second option will be as 0. This information now is enough for me to build my PowerShell script. So if I go to PowerShell, I have already prepared the command. So first of all, I have two parts. I have the body of the post and I have the call itself. So inside the body of the post, we will have the authentication part. It depends on the application you are using, but for this example, for the PRTG, we can use either the API token or the username and passhash or the username and password. In this example, I just kept the username and passhash. These are the two values which were coming in the post command from the developer tools. The last one is basically the invoke web request. Invoke web request and invoke REST method are the most popular commands in PowerShell for executing API calls. So invoke web request, and I have placed the URI, which was showing up there, along with the method as post, and we are passing the body to the call. Now if I will try to run it, we can see here the impact. So now it's selected at the second one. Let me refresh the page. And we can see that it got changed. If I do the other way around, I can change the value to 0, run it. If I refresh the page, I can see it has been moved to the second one. So basically this was a very simple example of the usage of it, and definitely if I'm doing it across multiple objects, I will be doing a loop in the PowerShell command that will be looping across multiple IDs which I want to implement this action on. There would be also other more complex methods or like examples of how to utilize it, which I was telling you about. Like if you wanted to go for the elements, maybe you are having multiple actions you are doing on the same page, so you are like unhiding an option then selecting another option. So all these can be like explored if you can get the action out of the calls happening, so you can try to automate it on your application and reduce the manual work that can be done accordingly. One last thing to note here, that in this example of the PowerShell, I'm using the HTTP. So basically here I'm using the old version of PowerShell, which sometimes you might get errors if you are using HTTPS if you don't have a valid certificate on the URL. So in order to bypass this, if you don't have a certificate, you might require installing PowerShell 7. PowerShell 7 will allow you to have, along with the invoke web request call, to have something called the skip certificate check. So this will help you bypass that error in case you have faced this during your implementation. I hope this video was useful to you. Thanks for watching.